but do I recommend doing it? I don't.
Mhm. Do you know Peter Thiel?
Hmm.
He's going to do a lecture series in a week or two, I think it is,
Antichrist.
about the Antichrist. Yeah, a four. I think it's a four series, or there's four lectures he's going to be giving in this on this topic of the Antichrist.
Hmm.
I was looking it up. I'm quite interested to listen to it because I think he might have
Yeah.
some valuable insights into it. But I asked ChatGPT to give me a summary of what it thinks he'll cover, and it gave me this. So the Antichrist, a four-part lecture series, Peter Thiel. So Thiel's lecture series will explore the idea of the Antichrist as both a biblical and cultural concept, tracing how it has been understood through history, literature, theology, and political thought. Drawing on writers like René Girard, Francis Bacon, Jonathan Swift, and Carl Schmitt, he'll connect the Antichrist to themes of power, deception, and imitation. How
Hmm.
societies fall for false messiahs or destructive ideologies disguised as progress. Expect him to tie these ideas to modern science and technology, asking whether today's innovations, utopian promises, or political movements might carry an antichrist dimension when they attempt to replace faith with human mastery. I see a lot of value in that. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what his take on the whole thing is.
Hmm.
I think it will be insightful. So, what do you think?
Yeah. I'm kind of in your camp, brother. I'm anxious to see what he has to say because him and JD Vance are very close, have been very close. And Palantir, I think it was Peter Thiel's company, AI software. Um, I'm just anxious because what Matthew Brown said in his interview with George Knapp and Jimmy Corbell was that the United States is in possession of an artificial intelligence that has and will and can accurately predict the future. Accurately predict the future. And so when you have that in the same ballpark, in the same time frame as Peter Thiel coming out and talking about the Antichrist, yeah, I'm going to punch my ticket. I'm going to watch. And
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to see if he's trying to implicate any kind of political movement
Mhm.
or any religion. That's what I'm really interested in hearing. But yeah, whoever these guys are, again, you're talking about Matthew Brown, the guys that are in the know, even the whistleblowers that Dr. Pasuka mentioned, right? They're still in the ballpark. They're still in the model of angels and demons. There is something more than technology that has pushed them into that arena.
Mhm.
It's not just, again, it's not just ritual. Whatever they know, if disclosure occurred, it would be an ontological shock in every way, not just religion. Like, let's go there for a second if we can. When people say, okay, it's just this or that, what would destroy all of religion if we knew about it? Right? Because that's the reason, right? They said, okay, yeah, it would be panic in the streets if it really came out. In my mind, there would only be one thing that would destroy every model of phenomenon, and that would be that there are others that are in control of this planet that know our future. They're sentient, precognitive, and that we would start to question our own free will. Like, Steve Mera is a good friend of mine, and a lot of his conclusions in his research have just blown me away, and it's led me to question a lot. Like he was talking to me one night about uh, doing experiments with the phenomenon to where like testing its knowledge base. Him and Barry were getting communication from the phenomenon that would say, okay, at a certain date, at a certain time, you're going to be doing A, B, and C.
How are they getting this communication?
Um, I don't know. I think it was through EVP, I believe, but it was, and I have to ask Steve about that. But it was to the point where the phenomenon had successfully predicted the future up to, I think, 12 to 15 months. And so it's like your Truman Show, like you're in Truman Show, the movie, and where Truman really he's thinking, okay, this is all a stage. I'm being manipulated. So he goes up to the stop sign and he goes, okay, I'm going to turn right instead of turning left. And when he turned right again, the stage managers are trying to control him. No, 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 you got to turn left. Why? Because you can't turn right. You got to turn left. And so Steve was like, well, you've done this 3 times already. I'm gonna ask you again what I'm gonna be doing. You're gonna tell me, and I'm gonna do my best not to do it. Right. And so he started going against his own grain. Like, okay, if I would have done this tomorrow, I'm gonna do the opposite. He did the opposite of what he would usually do, and then still showed up the same destination at the same time.
Mm.
So it's precognitive. And again, a lot of these characteristics do check the box of demonic, but I think that that still doesn't fit the bill. Whatever we're dealing with is exact. I think the Collins elite realize this. Our government does too. They know that it's one thing to say that they can walk into our rooms, but it's another thing to say they have access to the soul and that they know the future. It would literally come down to are we characters in someone else's story, right? Would it just be better for me to go stock shelves and completely ignore this? Because the evidence suggests it's more like the Truman Show. It's more like Dark City, where there is something with us that is creating or even replicating reality in our presence. We think it's something, it's blending in. We're not realizing a lot of these are constructs in that whatever the species is, we're being acted upon.